accelerated contest, only 2 weeks long, then 1 week to judge. Usually I take months. You get a month to do it and a month to judge. We're announcing it today. The contest will end in 2 weeks, and we'll have the winner on Halloween. October 31st, first place $5,000, second place $200, third place $500. But everybody wins because you go print off the posters we've made or make your own poster exposing the false, politically correct deity Obama, exposing collectivism, exposing the open border, whatever spectrum of that you want. Use our posters, make your posters, send us your posters. We'll post them on Facebook and Twitter and places. It's about showing the power of the people. We've done some of these contests that have become huge national news stories. They've all been very successful. And what you do is you shoot video of it, and then you put it on YouTube. We link to the different videos. People watch them by the millions. Big videos get seen 1 million times, small ones 5,000. So what? That's a big deal. You go out, you get involved, you hang posters in legal and lawful areas. Could be on your own barn, your own business, or a commons area, where they hang rock and roll posters or church posters or, dog show posters and nobody cares. But then when you do, they'll go, it's horrible, ban it, arrest them, just to show how they want to violate free speech. When that happens and the local news covers it, then they try to shut down free speech. More people do it. It backfires on them. So, Ebola, and we'll do a document cam shot and show people here. 2 of the posters, we have the files up on Infowars.com in the article on the homepage that we're going to tweet out right now and post to Facebook. In fact, I saw them with the contest page about an hour ago, so I don't see it on Infowars.com yet. So we'll get that up on Infowars.com right now, or I guess it's not in the featured news area, or maybe it hasn't cached yet off the cache into my my computer. But we'll get it in the features, top story, this contest, and I'm going to give folks the headline on the article right now. # Ebola contest. Tyranny is the disease. Get engaged in the battle against tyranny with InfoWars' latest $7,500 contest. Ebola is racist to criticize that they're leaving our borders wide open. Tell him to halt flights from Ebola-stricken hot zones. Close the open borders. Download our posters or make your own. Shoot video of yourself posting in lawful places. First place, $5,000, right down to $500, third place. Submit entries by Friday, October 24th. I will announce the winners on the show on All Saints Eve, I guess you'd call it, or All Hallows Eve, Halloween, October 31st. And again, then we'll dole out and post the videos to Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We're going to tweet this out, that Ebola is a disease. Right now, with a link to the article at Real Alex Jones, please retweet it. And then again, the big glossy posters are a great way. # tyranny is the disease. # tyranny is the disease. Make that trend. Help expose it. And then it says secure the open border, Infowars.com. And on the top, blasphemy against Jamie Foxx.
The empire is on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
And folks, we are live on this Thursday, the 16th day of October 2014. We're just playing a few minutes from last Friday when we launched this new 2-week contest that only has like another week or so to go for you to go out, post the posters, shoot the video, post it on YouTube to hopefully spur other people to realize that there is a public stand down going on by Obama and the CDC. Now Senator Ted Cruz has come out, joining Governor Jindal from 2 weeks ago, as well as the Speaker of the House, John Boehner, saying they should restrict flights out of Ebola-stricken countries and should stop giving visas to non-U.S. citizens to come here. An absolute no-brainer. The Caribbean islands are doing it. Central and South America are doing it. African nations bordering these countries are doing it. Italy's doing it. England's doing it. The UK, France, but not the United States because it's a religion. As Michael Savage said here on air last week, it doesn't matter if other countries can have borders, the United States cannot. There can never be the idea that a border or a nation being for citizens who pay the taxes, that cannot exist. Now let's go over the huge stack of breaking Ebola news to give you the latest on what's happening. Associated Press reports Ebola escalation could trigger major food crisis. The global famine warning system is predicting a major food crisis if the Ebola outbreak continues to grow exponentially over the coming months, and the United Nations still hasn't reached over 750,000 people in need of food in West Africa who are without food as prices spiral and farms are abandoned. On the eve of the World Food Day Thursday, the UN agencies and non-governmental organizations are scrambling to scale up efforts to avert widespread hunger. The UN goes around with policies to shut down food production worldwide. Then they use the famines and wars they stir up on record to then get all the young women mainly to go give money to UNICEF. That's the news behind the news, the story behind the story. Another report out of CBS News, DFW airport contractor forced to remove mask and gloves. That's why you've got protests going on and strikes for 2.5 weeks in New York and other cities as the people that are supposed to be cleaning the aircraft are told that they can't wear masks and gloves. Aircraft coming in out of West Africa, in some cases with vomit in them, because it'll, quote, scare people. We're going to get to those articles in a moment. Experts offer steps for avoiding public hysteria, a different contagious threat. So we've been talking about the hysteria being a bigger problem than Ebola itself. Well, now the New York Times is reporting on it today. Here is another one. It's very important. CDC, Ebola patient traveled by air with low-grade fever. They'd first said that it was her fault and she shouldn't have done it, but now it's admitted in NBC News that Ebola patient who contacted the CDC before flight agency says was told that she could fly even though she was an Ebola nurse and even though she told him she had a fever. By the way, I treated the guy that has Ebola and I'm sick. Can I fly? That's like saying, my dog has rabies and is foaming at the mouth. Should I put it into a schoolyard of kids? Yes, put the dog with rabies into the schoolyard. Or, I found a bat crawling around hissing on the ground. Should I pick it up and kiss it? Yes, that's a good idea. There's a cliff by my house, 1,000 feet to jagged bottom. Should I jump off without a parachute? Yes, jump off immediately. Ring. Hi, I'm a nurse that treated the Ebola patient, CDC. Yeah, we know who you are. Yeah, you're all over the news. Yeah, I'm going to fly. Of course, this time wasn't on the news, just had been around an Ebola patient. So I was treating an Ebola patient. I'm going to fly. I have a fever. Oh, but dearie, that's a great idea. They're not just turning off the defaults. They're sending the Ebola kids to school. They're not cleaning up the apartment. Something weird is going on. And why are nurses getting it, but the family isn't getting it? Either they're covering up that they have it, or it's what that CIA whistleblower said back in the middle of last month here, Mr. Steele. Maybe we should cue that clip up later. He said he believed they would release a biological simulant that wasn't Ebola, but would make people sick or even kill them to create a false flag. That's what he said on air 2 weeks before this Ebola thing even broke or even started. And I'm not saying this isn't real. You got a lot of deaths in Africa, over 4,000. You've got hundreds of thousands that have gotten it, who may end up dying from it. You've got UN models of 1.4 million dying or getting it. I don't know what the truth is, but if you've got a global system caught staging hoaxes or creating Al-Qaeda and changing the name and having them attack countries, and when the public finds out, changing the name again, and then, you know, the Kurds call for support against them, so you bomb the Kurds instead. I mean, this is all happening because of public ignorance. The establishment thinks they can do whatever they want. And beyond public ignorance, this is all happening because even if we're awake, the system runs the courts, they run most of the legislative systems, they run the investigative systems, they run the so-called security apparatus, and so they're above the law. But see, when elites get above the law, they always bring the law of nature into play. They become delusional. They go too far, just like criminals do, and they end up destroying their own system or destroying themselves or being self-destructive. Most psychopaths are very, very meticulous and maybe commit one murder a year for 15, 20 years. Then they start committing 2 or 3 murders a year for a couple years. Then suddenly 4 or 5 murders a year. Then they'll kill 3 or 4 people in a week. And they'll start dumping dead bodies out in the back of the police station and writing letters taunting the police, wanting to get caught. We're now reaching that point where they openly say on the Council on Foreign Relations, we need to fund al-Qaeda, and we are funding al-Qaeda. Where they openly write books admitting they're putting fluoride in the water to brain damage us, the White House science czar. Where they just say 2 + 2 = 5. You didn't build your business. The death panels are wonderful. On and on and on. This is the point that we've now reached with these people. Hi, I'm a nurse that treated the Ebola patient in Dallas. I'm sick, but I'd like to fly. Should I? Yes, honey. You go ahead and do that. They tell you don't fly if you've got a fever, period.